Welcome. I'm Jessica Lonnie Rich, host of Inspire You and Me. It's an inspirational show where we talk to people who are making a difference. On this week's show, we have author Bryan Yamashita will be sharing with us about overcoming adversity. The executive director of Touch a Heart, Robin Kumabe, and musician Evan Khay. And be sure to stay tuned for the Animal Lovers Clip of the Week. We'll have all that and more, and we'll be back right after this.
5914777. Shoot-a-wah. Who's got the best deals in Vegas around? Who's got the good job? Shoot-a-doo. Call 5914777 today. Vacations Hawaii. Vacations Hawaii. Vacations Hawaii. Good luck, we gon' play. 5914777 today. Good luck, we gon' play.
We are very honored to have as our special guest on the show, author Bryan Yamashita. Welcome, Bryan.
Thank you.
It is really our privilege to have you as a guest on our show today. You wrote a book, and it's called Faith, Hanging in There by a Thread. You've gone through a number of adversities in your life, and before we get to why you wrote the book, let's start at the beginning. Bryan, I understand growing up you had some adversities. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Well, I was born, it started at birth with just part of my left arm. As rough as it was, I'm so grateful. I credit my family, my parents, who accepted me for how I was, and they raised me like in the same way as my other brothers. But there were challenges that needed to be overcome, and there were a lot of people who came to my aid. Of course, my parents, they tried, but ultimately, when I remember back, I had to figure things out for myself.
Growing up, I know kids can be mean sometimes. What got you through it?
As a handicapped child, you just gotta get through it. That's all I can say, and you can, and you do. And you learn that, my handicap is very physical, but after a while you notice everyone has a handicap. A lot of them you can't see, and sometimes the unseen ones are harder to deal with. The ones you do see are actually, in a way, they're right in your face, so it's easier to deal with sometimes. We all played sports, especially football. And so I saw my two older brothers starting to play, and I watched them play, and I thought, well, I'm gonna play too. And so, I know my parents had to probably deliberate a lot about allowing me to play, but ultimately they said, if he wants to play, let him try. And so I did, and my coaches were very supportive, my teammates as well. And the most important thing was for me just to be treated the same. I didn't want to be treated differently. I didn't want any rules changed for me. And then I knew that if I could play and just as well or better, then it was all me. That I could overcome this handicap.
Let's transition now to your career as a high school teacher at Nanakuli High School. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, first of all, I bounced around doing different things, and I finally found teaching something that was calling on me, and there were things that were just guiding me to that point. And I got into it really down deep because not only did I feel it was my calling, something I wanted to do, but I was raised by two great teachers, one of which was my father. He was not just my father, he was my teacher. He took things that were difficult for me to understand, broke them down. That became kind of like my mantra as a teacher of myself, was that whenever there was something that was difficult for my students to understand, I just realized what I needed to do was break it down. And then I found so much success by doing that and just being empathetic to my students' needs.
Bryan, I understand that in 2009, you had a very tragic situation. Would you mind sharing with us what happened?
February 27, 2009, my former wife, was brutally attacked by a stranger. She was stabbed to death. She shortly died at the hospital, and it was just a total shock, and to have that happen, and it was just incredible how bad it was, not just for myself, but my daughters, It was really, really bad. But you know, we just got through it. We hung in together, and I'll be honest, totally honest with you, it was all about my faith, and that's what drove me to write the book. That my faith in God just helped us get through all that.
And I was just going to ask you that, and I'm glad you answered it. How do you get through something like that? Just you sharing with me, I could feel in my heart, and I'm sure anyone, when they hear that story, it hurts. And if it hurts, I can't even imagine what you and your daughters went through.
Well, what really helped us so much was just an incredible outpouring of support for my family and myself. People coming to my wife's service, and you know, the cards and gifts, phone calls constantly. Just so much support. And one of the purposes of the book was just to simply say thank you to so many people that I couldn't even thank because so many gifts were anonymous, but that just gave me so much hope, that inspired me to be positive, to look forward to another day, still sometimes living moment to moment, but just an incredible outpouring of support. And I couldn't be more thankful.
Bryan, you wrote a book about this tragic event. Share with us, what did you put in your book?
After about 3 or 4 months of what we went through, there were so many good things that happened to us. As bad as what happened to us, I really felt that this could be a good story. And that's where the thought of writing the book came. You know, from the very beginning, and I was a Christian before this all happened, and so it was a great test of my faith, and that for my family, my daughters especially. But we just continue to believe and trust in our God, and every moment of every day. I can tell you that there were times where I couldn't tell you what could happen after 5 minutes. We were living like moment to moment. But I really felt that my faith, my belief in God was down to a thread. You know, it was that it could snap, and I would just totally lose it. I don't know what that would mean because it never actually happened, but it was down to that bare thread.
Bryan, the name of our show is Inspire You and Me. What inspires you?
Again, I will just say it, my Lord, God, and my Savior, Jesus Christ, inspires me every day. And every morning I wake up, I thank Him through prayer. I ask humbly for His guidance, His protection, and strength for the day. And I receive it. Anything other than my faith, I would say my wife and my current wife and my daughters, they inspire me. You know, my daughters, incredible strength through it all. But I know they were depending on me as well. But, you know, we as a family just hung in together.
Bryan, you mentioned you remarried, so your life is together again, so to speak.
So to speak, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that will always be there. However, you have taken that pain and you've turned it into purpose. And I want to thank you so much for being a guest on Inspire You and Me. You are certainly one of the most inspiring people that I have ever met. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Unique, majestic, inspiring. Hawaii's hidden gem on the windward side. Just a short scenic drive will take you to one of the most extraordinary locations in the world. We specialize in conferences, meetings, retreats, business functions, social events, and off-premise catering. Delectable cuisine, stunning panoramic views, and excellence in first-class service. Let Ko'olau Ballrooms and Conference Center make your event a memorable experience.
We are very pleased to have as our special guest on the show, she is the Executive Director of Touch a Heart, Robin Kumabe. Welcome, Robin.
Hi, welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's really good to see you again.
Yes, very nice to see you too.
For those people who are not familiar with Touch a Heart, can you explain to us what you do?
Touch a Heart is a nonprofit organization that works together with those that have barriers to employment, and we provide a food service vocational training program for them. It's an 8-week program, and they actually get on-the-job training as well as training in food service with even a certification with the Department of Health for food safety, and we help prepare them for job placement, and then we usually are able to get them jobs too.
Robin, you talked about barriers to employment. What exactly do you mean?
Barriers to employment can mean a number of things. It can be a barrier that is perhaps because of incarceration. We have a number of our trainees that come from that background. We also have those that have been through maybe drug treatments. Also, even if you've had issues with homelessness, that's where we started actually.
How does someone become a trainee?
So we always work with other organizations that give us the trainees as potential employees. All of our training and cohort is paid. We provide them with the minimum wage for those 8 weeks, and so they get paid as our trainees. And so we want to make sure that they are ready for training. So we work with organizations like Salvation Army, we work with the Justice Department and pretrial, we've worked with YWCA, a number of these organizations that vet them out first. They do the first interview, and then they come to us. They make their selections, they come to us, and then we interview them.
You also teach food safety, which is so important. Can you tell us more about that?
So all of our graduates go through testing with the Department of Health, and they pass the food safety food handlers certification. And so far, every one of our trainees has passed through that and done very well.
And that food certification is very important. What is your Baker's Heart products?
Baker's Heart is where we started off originally before even our catering. And Baker's Heart is a social enterprise that we created for a lot of our cookies, and we have something called Biscotti Bites. We have a cookie that is made with oatmeal, quinoa, and flaxseed, and in a number of flavors, and people have really loved them. We even started moving forward with selling it to the outside, to the tourist community, and they were even featured in some of the hotels before all of this happened.
When COVID-19 hit, your nonprofit went in another direction. What was that?
Yes, when COVID-19 happened, we were in the middle of our cohorts. We had 3 cohorts at the time, and they were just finishing up their program. But what we did is we pivoted, as they use the term, and we moved into our culinary catering side. So the actual food service that they were learning, we found that there was a need in the community, especially for the kupuna, to prepare meals that were healthy and nutritious as well as taste good, and that they could pick up and eat in their home, and it would be all safe. So we moved our whole program, our trainers, our chefs, they all just switched over to the catering side, and we started that program.
Now, in case there are some visitors or people from other parts of the country who are watching right now and don't know what the word kupuna means, can you explain that, please?
That's all of our seniors and our grandparents that really had to stay in place. They had to stay in their homes, and they really couldn't go out, especially during the first lockdown.
Can you share more about the kupuna program?
So our Kupuna and Family Meals is a three meal set. It's all 3 complete meals, salad, full main course, as well as a starch. And we package it individually, and it comes in a bag. And people pre-order, and they can pay by cash, check, or they can pay by charge card. And they come and pick it up, and we have 2 locations now. One in Honolulu at Kalihi Union Church, and the other is in Pearl City at the Pearl City Community Church.
And what's the average cost for a
The
box?
cost is $25.50 for all 3 meals, and it includes tax.
Robin, the name of our show is Inspire You and Me. What inspires you?
I think it's seeing the lives of the people that we're training get changed. It's been a joy to serve them. And lately, being able to provide the meals for the seniors, the kupuna, and they are so grateful. They love the meals. We've taken them on a journey even as a foodie because we have a whole variety of them that we change out the menu on. And so just seeing that we're making a difference in people's lives, that inspires me, and it makes me want to continue to do more all the time.
Robin, thank you so much for being a guest on Inspire You and Me. You are doing amazing work in our community and also in the world, and you are truly touching hearts.
Thank you, Jessica. It's been a joy to be here, and I thank you that you brought me back.
Feel like Vegas, there's just one place to stay. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo bar, there's just one place to play. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here. Look now at thecal.com.
How do you survive COVID-19 and you're a musician? We're going to be finding out about that, and we are really pleased to have back as our special guest on the show, entertainer Evan Khay. Welcome, Evan.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to be back.
Evan, your journey becoming a successful musician, it wasn't always that way. You had some adversities that you went through. Can you share them with us?
Well, you know, I'm born and raised in Eva, and I went to Kamehameha schools, fortunately from kindergarten through 12th grade. And through those times, you know, as every student and every kid growing up encounters to some extent bullying, finding out what your status and place is in the group that you're associating with. And when I was in high school, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she unfortunately passed away on the first day of my freshman year of college. So going through all of that, especially as a young adult who is the oldest of 4, and my other 3 siblings were freshmen and junior in high school. So dealing with those things and trying to help my siblings who also don't really know what's going on and how to process it made for a very, I guess, a very creative outlook on my position in life, and to have the community of people that I was fortunate enough to surround myself with at that time really helped me overcome all of those things.
And one of them, your wonderful grandmother.
Yes, who I'm sure will be watching this the day it airs and every time it airs.
My Aunt White.
Yes, yeah, her absolutely. She is the bedrock of my family and of really the extended family. Everyone, you know, my grandma is the grandma's house you go to for all of the special events, and holidays are spent at her house. Although it does look a little different this year given what the world is going through. Yeah, she is definitely my biggest fan.
It sounds as if you used your music to express a lot of these feelings.
Yeah, and that kind of shaped itself in the form of my debut album, Retrograde, which I released a few years back. All of that centered around the loss of my mom and kind of coping with all those feelings and kind of telling the story of where I was to where I was going, and kind of using it positively in the form of music, and having all of these emotions express themselves in a way that doesn't hurt me physically, emotionally. And using my music as that outlet, I think for me was helped me better understand what I was feeling and how I was feeling the way I was.
Everything was going so well for you. Your career was just taking off. You've released your new music, and then COVID-19 hit. How did that affect you?
When COVID first hit, it was a very big overnight transition for me. I remember actually being at a venue ready to go, and 10 minutes before I was gonna hit the stage to set up, they had sent me home. Said, hey, we just got the news from the governor and the mayor, we're closing early, you guys are free to go. And from there, overnight, it went from 100 to 0. Like, I had my calendar blocked out till August of tours and performances and corporate events and things that was gonna keep me busy throughout the summer. And it disappeared in a night. But fortunately for me, I've been able to take the time that I would have spent on the road or driving through to my gigs to actually put to some creative use. I've been in the studio working on some brand new music, and that'll be coming out soon. And I've had the privilege of having a song that I co-wrote placed in a Netflix movie called A Babysitter Guide to Monster Hunting, and which is out, I think it's out now. So getting the news of that and still being able to be creative in a time where the whole world essentially took a pause has been super beneficial, but very much a challenge. You know, for us musicians, we're treated differently than employees of a certain place. You know, we're our own what they call independent contractors, or we're our own businesses. So we don't get the sick days, we don't get the paid vacation. So when we don't work, it's a loss for us. So we had to get creative and think outside the box. So I'm very fortunate to be kind of in the place where I am right now.
Now, Evan, you're a musician, so I'm going to ask you to play something for us.
Of course.
Can you do it now?
Absolutely, let's do it. Speaking of being in the studio over the last few months, this is one of the new songs that'll be coming out very soon that I actually haven't played before, so I saved it for today. So. Hello, are you listening? If you hear me, I just need to know that I'm not alone. But if I am, I guess that's fine. I guess that's fine. Hello, do you forgive me? I'm trying to change, but I see you have given up on me. So is this it? Tell me why. Tell me why. What's the point in trying to change me? What's the point of trying to change me? What's the point in trying to change me when all you see is who I used to be? What's the point in trying to change me? What's the point in trying to change me? What's the point in trying to change me when all you see is who I used to be?
Bravo. Evan, the name of our show is Inspire You and Me. Evan Khay, what inspires you?
My family inspires me. My friends inspire me. Seeing how things like the music that I get to write and sing and perform affect people inspires me, and seeing things like what you're doing in the world affecting other people inspire me.
Evan, thank you so much for being a guest on Inspire You and Me. You are inspiring so many people with your music, and I know that there are far greater days ahead for you as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
The law firm of Cronin Freed is proud to sponsor Inspire You and Me, a show about people in our community who are making a difference. I'm Rick Freed, and our law firm of 16 attorneys handles major injury cases, choosing to devote our considerable talent and staff to those injured people and victims for whom we can make a great difference. We hope that you will be inspired to follow your dreams and find your purpose.
We hope that you've enjoyed our show this week. I'm going to leave you with a rich thought for the day by Robert Collier, who said that success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Think about it. Until we meet again, I'm Jessica Lonnie Rich. Take care.
Oh, my, it's a beautiful world. I like surfing Waikiki. I like to paddle out beyond the white breakers, where a man can still be free, or a woman if you are one. Yes, I do like surfing Waikiki. But my, it's a beautiful world. My, it's a beautiful world. Oh, my, it's a beautiful world. Oh, my, it's a beautiful world.
The hardest thing in life is letting go of a loved one. Finding the right provider can be essential in your time of need. Celebrate your loved one with Ballard Family Mortuaries. We offer a full range of cremation and burial services on Oahu, Maui, Hilo, and Kona, with professional guidance and specialized attention you can trust at the most affordable cost. Call us today for a free consultation on funeral service options available to you and your family. Ballard Family Mortuary Group, serving Hawaii since 1997.